December 26, 1972. It was a cold winter day in Europe, and 22-year-old Vesna Vulovic was working as a flight attendant for JAT, Yugoslav Airlines. She had a normal day ahead of routine flight from Stockholm to Belgrade with a stop in Copenhagen. What no one could have imagined was that this flight would become one of the most unbelievable survival stories in history. Shortly after takeoff, tragedy struck. At 33,000 feet above Czechoslovakia, the plane suddenly exploded. Passengers screamed, chaos erupted, and pieces of the aircraft rained down over the snow-covered landscape below. Amid the wreckage, Vesna found herself trapped inside a small section of the fuselage, wedged into a food cart. That tiny crushed part of the plane would become her lifeline. For a horrifying moment, time seemed to stand still. Vesna was falling at terminal velocity, more than 200 miles per hour, plummeting through the freezing winter air. Snow and ice whipped past her as she hurtled toward the ground. Anyone else in her position would have died instantly, but somehow the metal fuselage and food cart cushioned her fall, distributing the force in a way that defied logic. Rescuers were shocked when they arrived. They found her lying in the snow, barely conscious yet miraculously alive. She had broken both legs, fractured her skull, and shattered her spine. Doctors were unsure if she would ever walk again, let alone recover. But Vesna had survived the impossible. Weeks passed. Vesna remained in a coma, her life hanging by a thread. When she finally woke up, she faced a long, painful road to recovery. She endured countless surgeries and months of rehabilitation, determined to live. Despite her injuries, she refused to let the tragedy define her. Vesna Vulovic's survival would go down in history. The Guinness World Records recognized her as the person who survived the highest fall without a parachute. Her story became a symbol of resilience, courage, and sheer human endurance. Even decades later, people still ask, how could anyone survive such a fall? Was it luck, fate, or something more? Vesna's life proves that sometimes reality can be far stranger and far more inspiring than any fiction.